Good morning and happy Friday to everyone. I am super thrilled to have my guest on today, Yohance Harrison. He is my financial advisor, my guru, my guy that I turn to when I want to make decisions on a financial level. So I'm really excited to bring you onto the show because you've done so much for me to help me and to get things set up as someone that was in their 40s and really had no future plans of retirement or anything.
So really give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit.
Maybe a little, but really. So thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. So welcome to you. I like to start these interviews off. Typically, I do like to bring on like local people. We do a lot of that, but I have brought in like my health coach or some people that have really made a difference. And I think in today's financial situation, you were the obvious choice to bring on to like, hey, listen, like no matter where you are in the world, this guy can help you. So welcome.
Thank you.
Want to let everyone know who you are, a little bit of background.
Yes. And thank you. Hello, B Major community. So happy to be with you on this beautiful Friday morning. Now I have to start with happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Alicia. Today is her birthday. She is the big 40.
Oh, you didn't tell me she was 40.
Yeah,
she's some good plans for her
today. Yeah. So yes, she can't hear me. She has a surprise party coming. I rented like I got spa day for her and her sisters and girlfriend. So it's coming soon. She'll see about it later.
But I appreciate you taking the time on this day to do this right here.
Indeed. I've still got some time. We're good. Actually, she's out having brunch with our neighbor, so she's all right. She's having fun because then she has to go get her birthday dress, so she's busy for a little while. So yeah, my name is Yohance Harrison. I am a financial planner, specifically a behavioral financial advisor and retirement planning counselor. I've been in the industry for 22 years. Almost like fresh out of high school, or shortly thereafter. And so what I do is I really just help people make better decisions with their money. A lot of times I meet clients that are making good money. Maybe they already have a house and, they're putting money in their 401k or whatever it is, but they don't have a good plan on how to connect their values with their goals and then have their financial behaviors in alignment with it. The best way I can share it with you when it comes to that alignment is it's just something as simple as, hey, saying I want to lose weight. You can say I want to lose weight, but if you say it while you're in the line at McDonald's, it's like, I don't think your behaviors are in alignment with your goals. And so the same thing will happen with money. I'll have clients say, oh, I want to be financially independent when I'm 50. And I'll say, okay, well, tell me your values. Actually, no, don't tell me your values. Show me your budget. And they show me their budget. I'm like, you don't want to retire at 50. You don't. Oh, no, you want to travel. You want to, and maybe those things are more important to you. And if they are, great, but let's make sure that you have alignment. And so like I said, I've been doing it for 22 years. I work with clients all across the United States. I even have clients that have moved out of the country as well. The COVID kind of did that to people. They're like, I'm over it. I'm out of here. So I have clients now all over the world. And what we do, we meet periodically. Some clients, they need monthly. Some clients need quarterly, but we meet to talk about, okay, what are your goals? What's important to you? And are you doing the right things? And the biggest role that I play at the end of the day is education. Yeah. I mean, most of us, if we graduate from high school, graduate from college, not knowing the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. Or not knowing the difference between a 403B and a 401k. Like a 401 who? What? I don't know what those things are, or even understanding what it means to start a business, create a LLC, whatever. We didn't learn a lot of those things, but I can tell you what, I can draw a really nice cell membrane and tell you where the
Where the
nucleus
nucleus
is.
is.
Yeah. And the mitochondria, I can do that for you.
Yeah.
The powerhouse, the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. That's all I remember.
Yep.
But I wasn't taught the difference between W-2 and 1099.
Yeah.
And I had a series of unfortunate events that led me into this role. And the biggest one was when I was a teenager, my mother became permanently disabled.
Hmm.
She was in a car accident while she was pregnant with my youngest sister. We thought we lost her. And, the doctors are doing everything to try to save my sister. And there's a lot of things that things that weren't really provided for her, some things I think they missed. But what had ended up happening is that shortly after the accident, she started having fainting spells. Those fainting spells turned into seizures, and she developed brain trauma epilepsy. And my mother at the time was the breadwinner for our household. And we were a growing middle class household. I mean, we started from the bottom and now we were about here. But then we kind of went down. And one of the most telling moments of my childhood, by the time I was 16, I had my driver's license, and my mother, they took her license away. She had a seizure while driving. Fortunately, she was just in the parking lot, but she had her license, they wouldn't renew her license. And so I kind of took over the family van. And so I left my car parked. I'd saved up my money, bought myself a little, what I have, a Mazda 323, but it kept having problems. But mom had a van. So I would take the van and I'd just go around the neighborhood and pile as many other teenagers as I could into that van and charging each one $1, $2 a head. Well, you had to pay $2 if you want to sit up front, but everybody else had to pay $1, sit in the back. But back then, gas was 79 cents a gallon.
Right.
I was making a profit. I was doing good. Okay. So the story is, so one day I wake up, normal, got to wake up early because I got to pick someone over here.
You were Uber before there was Uber.
I was Uber before there was Uber. You're right. And I had a little phone tree going. I had one person I called and say, hey, here's what we picking up today. Make sure everybody's up and ready, because or not, they're going to have to get on the bus. And we would leave. I would actually pick people up usually before the bus, because we would stop at the local, Bojangles, Hardee's. I grew up in North Carolina, so those that hear this can relate. East Coast, we'd stop and get breakfast on the way. So I wake up and I'm getting ready to go. My dad's up. He's preparing, lunch for my sisters, whatever. And I go outside and the van is gone. And I freak out. Dad, someone stole the van. And he just calmly says, well, I guess you have to take the bus today.
Oh.
I'm like, Dad, you don't understand. I got a business here. I got people to pick up. And it wasn't the right morning to test him. And he gave me I said, you're going to have to take the school bus today. But you're not worried about the van being stolen? I'm like, oh. So I spend the whole day rallying the troops at school. Like, we gotta solve this mystery. Somebody stole the family van. The red van? Who would steal a cherry red van? I don't know. We're going to figure this out. So I come home. My father, he happens to be home. Well, he usually isn't when I come home from school. So that was the first thing that kind of threw me off. But I'm ready. I'm like, okay, Dad, so-and-so said he checked with his dad. When his dad came home from work from his shift, the van was still there. So, it's sometime we think we got it narrowed down. It was probably stolen between, 2 and 5 in the morning, what have you. And he just kind of looks at me and says, I need you to give me a ride somewhere. At the time, I think his truck, he'd let one of, because he was a contractor. I think he'd let one of his workers use his truck or something like that. He said, I need you to get your Mazda 323 and I need you to give me a ride somewhere. And so I was like, okay. So we go outside and he beelines to the neighbor's house, and he goes to the neighbor, and I see some money exchange hand. I see the neighbor give him a wad of cash. And then he comes and he gets in the van with me, and he says, you're going to this address. I mean, not the van, excuse me, my Mazda with me. He says, you're going to this address. And so we drive to the address, and it's a tow yard.
Oh.
And he goes to the front of the tow yard, and I see him exchange some money. Next thing I know, here comes the red van. And I'm like, you found it. And I didn't understand that what had happened is that the van had been repossessed for non-payment. They had taken a loan out. They had taken a loan against the van. And then what do they call it? Pink slip loan, whatever you call it. And then they didn't pay it. Yeah. And so it got towed away, and he had to pay the fees to get it out of the tow yard.
Yep.
And so that was one of those defining moments where I was like, wait, how does this happen? And it was later that I learned it was just that they had run out of money. They had gone through everything they had. And my mother didn't have any disability insurance. And I
Yeah.
didn't know that was a thing until much later. So that was something my first job in finance was actually in a bank. And while I was in the bank, I had a mentor that said, look, there's more than just banking and slinging credit cards. Let me talk to you about investing and financial planning. And then I just knew, I said, okay, I want to be a financial advisor because my parents must not have gotten any good advice at some point.
Yep.
So that's how I got into it. And it's part of my why. I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through as a teenager just from a lack of education and knowledge. Because like I said, they don't teach this stuff in school.
No.
And I want them to, I mean, and by the time they figure it out, I'll be well financially independent. But for now, it's some great, job security for me that it's not taught in school. So there's a lot of people looking for it.
Absolutely. Well, and for me, that was very similar is that, I grew up in a situation where my parents scraped for everything they had. And so I did the same. And so, I've been blessed with the ability to be a realtor in our area and a team leader. And, it's just a huge blessing, but I've got to be smart with the blessing that I've received. And that is to pour into others, but also let's work into the future. And the biggest thing that for me, being an agent that came on to EXP, their onboarding is about your exit. Like they literally want to know, how long do you want to be here? How long do you want to do this? And what do we need to do to get you on your exit plan? And I've never had anyone, any company, anything that I've been a part of talk to me about when you're coming onto the team, how we're getting you off. And I was just like, wow, that's pretty fantastic. So, and I'm like, oh, I've got this guy, and he's helping me.
We have to begin with the end in mind. And that's the thing. We've all heard the saying, most of us will not plan to fail,
Right.
but most of us fail because we fail to plan.
Right.
And so especially when you're a business owner, I mean, let's just break it down to the lowest common denominator. You're in sales.
Yeah.
But the beauty of being in sales is that as long as you have the energy to get up and go find your next customer, to find your next home, you can keep your income stream going.
Yeah.
But at some point, either one or two things going to happen. Either your mind is going to say, I don't want to do this anymore, or your body's going to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
If you can be able to make that decision before the decision happens for you, that's how you create financial independence.
Yep.
And that's what we want to be able to do. And that's why I am so happy to be able to help you figure this all out, because we got a lot of things to figure out.
Speaking of, so before we got on this, I have a couple questions that were asked of me to ask you. So I'm going to toss these out here. And the one that someone asked me was, because of today's market and where we're at in the investment situation, the stock market, blah, 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 what are some of, do you have a top few 2 or 3 safe investments that someone could make today? Like if someone said, hey, I'm just going to use 25,000. I've got 25,000 I can invest. What are some safe short-term, long-term investments that someone could possibly roll with?
Absolutely. And I just have to apologize. My dog's going crazy. Someone just rang my doorbell.
It's okay.
I don't know if my mic is picking it up, but she only listens to me. So, okay, good. Maybe it's not great. So I didn't have to mention that. So what are some safe investments? So first, let's define safe. Okay.
Safe means safe different things. Was like not losing a ton of money.
Okay. So again, what does lose mean? See, and that's the whole thing about this whole financial plan. You got to understand what it is you're really talking about and the languaging behind what you're doing. So let me talk about myself. My portfolio, my personal portfolio, one of them anyways, is 50% smaller than it was 6 months ago. So one might look at that and say, oh, you lost 50%. Well, what you didn't hear is the full story. It was already 100% bigger than what it was 2 years ago.
Right.
Okay. So have I really lost anything? No, I just have less money today than I did 6 months ago. But I look at that like, ooh, this is an opportunity. Yeah. The same stocks that I was buying 6 months ago for $500 are now $100. Well, do I still believe in the company? Yeah, I think they'll be around for a little while. I'm like, I'm excited. Can't wait to put more money in. Okay. So the question that the question that's behind the question that individual are asking, 'cause I get this question all the time, is understanding how to diversify your money between short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. Okay. Because if you're a long-term investor, one of the safest places for you to invest long-term is in equities, stocks, whether you want to use like the S&P 500 or the Russell 1000. I'm thinking a big basket of huge companies that have been around for a long time, where if a few of them go bankrupt, it's not going to destroy the whole portfolio. Because guess what? A few of them are going to go bankrupt. So that is the safest thing to do for long-term investments. Okay. So now let's take the question of short term, because there actually is something out there that I want to talk about that's a great opportunity for a short-term investment and potentially maybe even a medium-term investment. And it's called an I bond. So the United States government, the Treasury, is issuing I bonds. The I stands for inflation. So a bond is when you loan money to a government, municipality, or corporation, and they promise you that as long as they stay in business, they'll give you your money back. Okay. So as long as the United States stays in business, they're going to give you your money back. Now, if the United States doesn't stay in business, we all have bigger problems.
It's a much bigger issue.
Not going to be your I bond. Okay. That's not going to be a problem. Okay. And I'm starting to feel, with how many things we've managed our way through, if we just try to throw all the things that have happened in the last 3 years, I'm pretty confident really the only thing that can take us out is aliens or zombies. I mean, that's it.
I think so.
So I think that's what we're down to. So that's good. Yeah. I'm glad we've kind of lived through this time. I'm like, all right, as long as it's not aliens or zombies, we're good. Okay. Yeah. But the I bond is paying an historical rate of return right now. And as of the time we're taping this, in early June, the rate is 9.62%.
Wow.
Okay. Now, the way that rate works is it's locked in for 6 months. And that rate was announced in April. There'll be a new rate announced in October. Okay. So if you put the money in today, then you're locked in at 9.62% for the next 6 months. Now, 9.62 is the annual rate. So you're not going to get 9.62%. You're going to get half of that because it's only 6 months. But then when the new rate is announced in October, if you leave it in, that's the rate that will apply to that money at that time. So let's talk about some of the setbacks of it. Well, the first is that you got to leave the money in there for an extended period of time. So you don't want to put this is my emergency fund if I get a flat tire. It's not for that money. But if you've already got a small emergency fund, you can, take a good chunk of money, put it in there. Another downside is that the most any American is allowed to do is $10,000 per calendar year. And it doesn't mean I can do 10,000. My wife can do 10,000. And if I want to gift 10,000 to my child, I can do 10,000 my child's name. But that's now my child's money. So gotta keep that in mind. But it's her money that she gets to do whatever she wants with at 18. I can't really take it back. It's an irrevocable gift. So you can only do $10,000. And if you take the money out and it hasn't been at least 5 years, the penalty is 3 months of interest.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But that's still not that bad. Let's say
it's really not awful if you've had it for 4 years or whatever.
If you have it a year, and let's say the rate stays the same, you're looking like a minimum of $500 in interest on $10,000. I'm sorry, there is nowhere else on the planet, and I've looked. I was actually doing some searching recently. There's nowhere else on the planet that you can get a guaranteed 9.62% rate for the next 6 months. Guaranteed.
That's pretty small.
You can't lose your money unless the United States go out of business, which we have narrowed down to alien invasion and zombies.
Yep, for sure.
So that is a safe investment that I think if you're not aware of them, I'll be sure we'll talk about how to get my information later, but I can give you some links on how to find that. Other than that, some banks are starting to offer the teaser rates again, where they're offering 1%, 2%, 3%. And again, that's because inflation has gone up, interest rates have gone up.
Yeah.
It takes a little while for that to kind of filter through the system. So you may be still sitting on a savings account that's paying 0.4%. But let's talk about that 0.4%, because if that's your long-term money, that's risky.
Yeah.
Because if gas prices went up by 20%, but your bank account only went up by 0.4%, you're not losing money, but you are losing purchasing power.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So again, you got to define what your time horizon is, then determine, okay, what does risk really mean to you? And then you can figure out, okay, what is a safe investment based on what the goal is, not just based on what CNBC or Fox Business or Bloomberg is saying related to what company is doing good or bad or indifferent at that time.
Yep. Which is interesting the way that you put that, because it's very similar to how I speak to my clients when they're looking at a home. Like, what is your top, like taking out everything out of this picture, what is most important to you, and where can we go that in the end gives you the location, the numerical amount of bedrooms and bathrooms, that does it have a garage or not a garage, like, does this actually fit your criteria? Like, let's narrow it down to really what it is that you want, and then we can broaden it up to other areas. And it's very similar. Like, let's
Absolutely.
talk
Absolutely.
about your behaviors. Let's talk about what it is that you really want, so then we can really focus in on that. So, I mean,
when my wife and I were looking for this house, we told our realtor, we're like, okay, I'm going to put you in a box. Don't bring us anything outside the box. And she did. She bring us some outside. I was like, that's outside the box. Because our box was, we love our neighborhood. And I said to her, there are 1,200 homes in our neighborhood. The turnover on homes is about 8 to 12 a month. Okay. So that means in 1 year, about 100 of these homes are going to exchange hands. I said, just keep us in our neighborhood. I said, I want at least 1/4 of an acre. We want at least 4 bedrooms, and we need at least 3 full bathrooms. And if it doesn't have a pool, that's okay, but I want room to put one in if I decide to.
Yep.
By the time when she got it, and she was like, okay, I got it. That's Shell's box. I'm not going to take you outside your box anymore. Then we just sat back and wait. Yep. Next thing you know, she was like, hey, I got 8 homes for you to go see. 8? Oh, whoa, all 8 came on the market at the same time. She said, yep, you can walk to one of them. I was like, yeah, not that one. But then it made it really I'm familiar with that one. It made it really easy for us to be able to confidently make offers, because it was checking all of the boxes, or at least 90% of the boxes.
And honestly, it makes it easy on your realtor as well. If you can be like, listen, this is where it's at. Now, there are some times where people, their expectations or their criteria, it's like someone comes to me and says they want a Gulf-front home with 3 bedrooms, 3 baths for $250,000. I probably
not this Gulf. You might want to go to Mississippi Gulf.
Like, I don't even know if you can go there. Anyway, so I mean, there is some education that has to come into play. Like, well, that's cool. However, yeah. So
we're like, oh, so you want to put 250,000 down? That's what I heard you say. You said
250,000. Right. Exactly. All right. Well, so that was some really good information, and I appreciate you taking the time to like explore that and go into that. That's really awesome, because I think that is something that I had like 2 or 3 people ask me that question right there. So,
can I expand on it just one bit?
Of course.
Okay, because there's something else that a lot of people miss. So we talk diversification. A lot of people, they think diversification is just, do I have 5 different stocks? Sometimes diversification is like, do I have 5 different institutions? That's not diversification. Having money at
this
Charles Schwab and E-Trade and Robinhood, that's not diversification. Diversification is, what are the underlying securities that you own? But that's just the first level. The more important one is diversification of time, diversification of risk, and also diversification of tax. Not every dollar is treated the same according to Uncle Sam. Okay. One of the greatest tools out there that we have to take advantage of is the Roth IRA, ROTH. Okay. The Roth IRA is a place where you can put after-tax money, and you can invest it, equities, bonds, stocks, what have you, and you get to take that money out tax-free. Okay. Now there's rules you have to follow, be it take it out tax-free. You have to be at least 59 and a half, or you have to use it for a first purchase of a home up to $10,000 in your lifetime, or to use it for college up to $10,000. But there's rules. But the point is, you get to get it out tax-free. A lot of people that I meet people that are in their 50s and 60s are like, hey, I'm ready to retire. I got $2 million. I think I have enough. And I'm like, well, you don't really have $2 million. You only got about 1.5. What do you mean? Well, I mean, you're going to have to pay taxes on this. What do you mean? I still have to pay taxes even though I'm retired? Yes. Oh, yes. What did they teach you that in school? Yeah, no. 2 guarantees in America. One day you will die, and you will pay taxes until you get there.
Yeah.
Okay. The Roth IRA is one of the rare places that we can invest money and get it out tax-free. And there's rules about how you can contribute to a Roth IRA. It's based on your income, but we also have a tool that almost went away last year. If you're over those limits, those thresholds, or if you're over 129,000 if you're single, or 240-ish, don't quote me on it, if you're married, you can't put money directly into a Roth IRA, but there is what's called the backdoor Roth IRA. So we have another way to still get money into the Roth IRA. So before you start thinking, okay, well, do I want to buy Apple, Amazon? And this is, I'm not telling you should, but do I want to buy those stocks? You might also want to ask yourself is, should you be buying it in an account in your name directly that's going to be taxable for any gains you get? Or should you be putting that money inside of some sort of vehicle that's going to get you some tax freedom in the future? Because you don't want to wake up and every move you make is a taxable one. I have clients like that. They'll call me like, oh, I need to take some more money out. What's the taxes going to be? Like, well, it depends on how much you take out. Like, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, no, you have a pension that's giving you $70,000 a year. So you're already in one tax bracket. And then you have your Social Security on top of that. That puts you in the next tax bracket. So anything you pull out of this 401k is just going to push that tax bracket even higher.
Yep.
So
yeah, definitely. And this is why you need someone to help you.
Yes, some help. Get some help. Get some help.
So my next question for you is about inspiration. So the B Major community, we use certain hashtags, and there's a certain standard and principle that we adhere to, and that is that we want to inspire others. We want to just be more for others. And that's kind of the be amazing, be kind, be inspiring, be major. And I think that everyone has that one story, like your story in regards to your mom, of course, is like your why. It's your drive. And it was that moment that you realized that we needed more education for this, for sure. But is there anyone or a book or anything that has been like super inspirational for you that you think maybe others might benefit from?
So I am a what's the word, sap for inspiration. I'm always seeking new education, new inspiration, but there are a few that just come to mind. The first individual is Mr. Sean Carter, Jay-Z himself. He is a huge inspiration to me. I had the unique pleasure of meeting him on several occasions while I was in high school. I did an internship at a radio station, which led to a job at a urban clothing store. So for those of you that remember FUBU and Mecca and those are all the ones I can remember. Yeah. So back then, so I was I worked in a store. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I worked in a store that sold that clothing. So a lot of the radio would bring, artists through there and stuff like that. So I wound up landing a job with Def Jam Music. And I worked with Def Jam Music for several years. And so I was able to meet Jay-Z on multiple occasions. One of my favorite occasions was, this was the job I had because I was kind of like, I got the coffee. That was the kind of job it was. I started in the mailroom, so to speak. Well, one day my job, this was the night before a show in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're at the Four Seasons Hotel. And I was told by one of the managers, hey, I need you to go buy a Monopoly set. And I was like, Monopoly? That's what y'all do? I'll play. Okay. Let me go to Walmart, get a Monopoly set. So I go to actually I didn't go to Walmart, I went to Kmart. I went to Kmart to get a Monopoly set. Yeah, remember them? So I went to Kmart to get a Monopoly set. And I bring a Monopoly set, and it's Jay-Z and Ja Rule and Memphis Bleak and a few of the other executives. They're all around this. They push these tables together. We've got it roped off. Of course, fans are all around, snapping their pictures, whatever. And they got it roped off, and they're there. And I hand them a Monopoly set. Open it up, they put the board on the table, they take the pieces out, they take the property, the chance, and the community chest, they put it on the board, but they didn't pull out the money. I was like, what's going on here? And they each start throwing out stacks of $10,000 to create the bank. Okay.
It's a real Monopoly game.
And they play Monopoly with real money. At one point, and I'm sitting, Jay-Z is to my left, I'm sitting like kind of behind him. At one point, he looks over. You want to play? I was like, I'm, Now, what's funny about that is my friend is there with me, and he's like, I thought you were a Monopoly champion. Because I was a neighborhood Monopoly champion. If any of you are listening, you know this. I was a neighborhood Monopoly champion. Okay. I didn't get beat, but I was not willing to play with real money, and I didn't have $10,000. And then it wasn't Jaru, who was it? I can't remember who was to my right. He was like, "I'll spot you." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I don't need to be
Oh
spotted."
my gosh, you
No,
totally should have done that. That would have been
no.
cool.
Oh, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, I wish I had, but still, just being there, watching it happen was incredible. So yeah, so I met Jay-Z before he was a billionaire. And I remember just hearing him speak and how he talked to some of us as the youth and just instill wisdom into us. And I've been a huge fan and continue to be a huge fan of his. And he's actually one inspired me to grow my hair out because I saw him do it. I was like, if Jay-Z can do it, I can do it too. So he is one for me. I read his books. I read the books that people write about him. I listen to his music. I have what I call a money motivation playlist. So when I need to, get into the mood, I put on that money motivation playlist, and then the first like 3 songs on it are by him. The first one is public service announcement. He just allowed me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hove. And that gets me going. I could be in the worst mood. I play that. I'm moving. So Jay-Z is probably number one. And then when it comes to books and authors, and I encourage you to take to for your listeners to read a couple of these books. One that I am rereading right now, we're actually doing a book club, my company with all our employees. It's called The Psychology of Money. Incredible book that really just helps you understand the psychology behind money. And it will help you answer the questions of why you do some of the things you do and why you think about money the way that you do. So that's a great one. And then another one that is a personal favorite of mine, also about money, is Money, a True Story of a Made Up Thing.
Right?
Because we made it up, y'all. And the only reason why it's working because we all believe in it.
Yeah.
The minute we stop believing, it's going to stop working. So I'm going to need you all to believe. Stay with me here. We need to believe. And that's also the whole crypto thing that's going on. The only reason why crypto and NFTs are working because people believe in it. Crypto doesn't really make money. It just represents something that's kind of cool. Just like this, we gave the same value to gold. We give the same value to diamonds, girl's best friend. Look at the history of diamonds being girl's best friend. That was made up too.
Yep.
That was a marketing campaign, and we fell for it and still falling for it to this day.
We fall for so many marketing campaigns.
We do.
Like there's so yes, I've had this talk with my coaches, and it's like, and I've thought the same thing about money. It is paper. We exchange paper. And now we don't even exchange paper.
We don't exchange paper. We're saying some digits on my phone. I can send a text message and it's money right now.
Right. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me. It's just
Apple will do that sometimes. Like no, I'm not trying to send money. I'm just trying to tell someone how much something costs. Don't take money out of my Apple Pay. Calm down.
Right.
I want to keep my money. But yeah, that is, and I'll take it a step further. What we exchange is paper, the decimals and the numbers in front of it behind it. But what we're really exchanging is energy. And so that money itself is just an energy that it's either taking from you or you're providing it. And that is how it gets exchanged. And as soon as, especially for all those sales, if you're in sales for other real estate agents, as you're listening, if that is what you are doing, you have to understand the exchange that you're willing to make in order to get what you want. But you also have to believe in 2 key concepts, just 2 is it. Once you understand these 2, world becomes your oyster. Number 1 is that money is limitless.
It is.
Government was like, oh, Ukraine, you need some money? Okay. What, you need to buy some weapon? How 500, not 500, 600, 700 million. Okay, done. 700 million, done. Like that.
Yep.
Okay. That can be true for you as well. You can create, because it's limitless. You just figure out what you're willing to exchange. And concept number 2 is that what is not limitless is your time.
Amen.
Okay. So once you understand what you're willing to give, time, energy, in order to get, there's a limitless supply of it.
Yes.
It's out there. In real estate, they're always building a new house somewhere.
Yep.
Someone's always selling a house somewhere. Someone's always buying a house somewhere. Okay. I don't believe in good and bad markets. Now, are there markets that are more plentiful than others? Yes. But for those that are willing to give in order to receive, let's go. There's plenty. It's enough to go around twice. Maybe a third time if you're willing to stick around for it.
would agree wholeheartedly. I love that you said it like that, because I feel the same way. Like, we can there is more, it's plentiful enough for anyone. It just is a matter of how much time and energy you want to give to it, because everything that we do, we give away our most precious commodity, and that is our time. So
yeah, indeed. That's the one that
speaking
we.
of,
Speaking of, we're at time. Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
No, we're not out of time, but I know you've got things to do today. So, if someone wanted to reach out to you and hire you or pick your brain, how can they do that? I mean, I know your number and stuff, but feel free to give it all out, and I will put this in the copy for everyone to look at.
Absolutely. So the easiest way to reach out to me is via email. My assistant monitors my email all day. My ringer is off right now. So if you were calling me and I'm doing something like this, I'm going to miss the call. It's going to go to voicemail. No, send me an email. My email, my first name, Yohance, YOHANCE at moneyscriptwealth.com. MONEY script, SCRIPT, wealth, WALTH.com. By the way, Jay-Z was influential in the name of my company as well. He has a song called Stick to the Script, Money Scripts.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see that happened there. So
I like it.
so Yohance at moneyscriptwealth.com. If you just want to get, some of I put out a lot of great blogs and newsletters and things of that nature. I just recently did one, if you want to get a copy of it, about the bear in the room, of how we've kind of entered into a bear market. What should you be thinking about if we go into a recession, and how to recession proof yourself and recession proof your household, or make it a little bit more recession proof. May not be perfect, but we can work towards it. But on Twitter, it's at the Money Script, and on Instagram, it's also at the Money Script. So you can reach out to us there. And then, of course, I have the Money Script podcast. So wherever you get podcasts, the Money Script podcast is there. Free game all day. We talk about everything, all the financial concepts. So feel free to get some of that free game there.
I like it. Well, I so appreciate you taking time, especially today, to bring forth this goodness and these nuggets, because it's really good. And I really appreciate it very much.
Yeah, this was awesome. I love, and I know because it's you, Nicole, that you have some listeners and some followers that are going to take this. They're going to, I can actually, Morgan, send me a check, because some people probably just book right now. So if you're listening, Morgan Housel, you know who you are. I'll take, actually don't send me a check. Send me a box of books. I don't need a check.
There you go.
Send me a box of books so I can pay it forward.
There you go. Absolutely. That's what I love. Well, awesome. Well, I'm going to sign off for today, but we appreciate you joining us today. And I hope that you reach out to this wonderful guy and ask any and all questions. I know that he'll be happy to help you, and enjoy your Friday. Peace out.
Peace.